Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. So today we're going to be working in the garage. Today we're going to be working on the Evo specifically, and we're actually going to get started. I will warn you, today for whatever reason it's really windy, not sure why. And additionally, we just got hit about a week ago with pollen. And if you've never seen North Carolina pollen, it's unlike anything else you'll ever see. Check this out. This is about a week's worth of pollen, and it just gets worse and worse. I've never seen anything like this in my life. And for whatever reason, North Carolina gets it the worst. And when this stuff gets on the ground and stuff, it's ridiculous. It looks like this yellowish, like, puddle stuff. I got pictures of it. I'll post some pictures. But anyways, today we're gonna be working on the Evo. I pushed it back a little bit just because I want to get as little of that pollen in here as I possibly can. But we're gonna be working on the intake cooling of the car in preparation for the tune next week. So if you're not tracking, we're about to install a Haltech in this thing, and then we're getting it tuned next week. But today we're gonna be swapping out. Actually, let me pop the hood and I'll show you what we're doing. All right, guys, got the hood popped as well as the garage somewhat closed to try to keep that wind away. But today we're gonna be swapping the intercooler as well as the piping, and then we're gonna be modifying the intake as well. And the reason why I'm doing this, reason number one is this is the oldest performance stuff that I have on the car. When I did the new setup on this whole thing a couple years back, I pretty much replaced everything. And there's nothing wrong with this intercooler along with the piping. I'm mainly just upgrading just to refresh, and then additionally, I'm switching over to aluminum piping just because because of heat, and I'm getting ready to move down further south where it's going to be hotter. So believe it or not, this piping, which is stainless steel, is not very good for cooling components just because it doesn't dissipate heat as good as aluminum. So with stainless steel, it tends to absorb the heat, and that's not something that you want in piping. So we're going to be switching to aluminum. And then, not to mention, stainless steel is way heavier than aluminum, so we'll be saving some weight. So I'll show you what we got in store inside. All right, I'm sure by the box you guys can already see what brand is we're switching over to. Say what you want about STM. I know they haven't had the best reputation when it comes to customer service and stuff lately, but I've never had an issue. And then not to mention, they've actually stuck to their roots, which is Evos, which I always respect. So we are going to swap this out with STM setup. As far as specifics, actually we'll get started here since it's already open. This is actually the lower intercooler pipe that I had made. Shout out to the homie Michael Barefoot. He's a local guy here, and he went ahead and made this for me. Pretty good stuff considering he's a one-man show. And then, since I am doing STM products, I went ahead and decided to go with their front crash beam, or crash bar, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to be running this. I'm actually pretty curious to do this just because I've been wanting to kind of do this for a while, mainly because the OEM crash bar is very bulky, and it weighs a lot. So this will help with the weight, as well as just in general keep a lot of people are going to say, hey, just delete it all around, but believe it or not, that's what causes a lot of the bumper sag and a lot of Evos is the guys take out the crash bar, and then right under the headlights you'll notice that it sags right there. So let's open this up. All right, here we are. And I went with I know some of you guys are gonna be disappointed because I didn't go with the big bad boy, but I wanted to go with the 4-inch setup. However, that required for me to trim the bumper, and I do not want to do that. I do not want to do anything that I can't undo to this car. So this is why I pulled the engine, and the stock OEM engine is still sitting in the corner, so on and so forth. I don't like doing stuff that I can't reverse. So I went with a 3.5-inch. I'm not exactly looking to make more power anyway, so it's not like I needed a bigger intercooler. And then with the piping, I did want to go to the 3-inch. However, that required me to remove the ACD setup. So we're sticking with the 2.5, and then we're sticking with the 3.5-inch intercooler. So with the finish, I went with this brushed finish, which is really nice. And this is so much lighter than the old setup. And it came with everything. It even has the bung for the AIT sensor. And same thing for the blow-off valve. And then additionally, guys, we are also gonna go ahead and here, I ended up putting all the couplers and stuff for the intercooler in here. And we are upgrading the intake piping from the stainless to the aluminum. And I actually have to brush this because it came in this polished finish, which I don't like. I'm not a polished chrome kind of guy. So for this one, we went with Vibram. The first thing we're gonna be doing is scuffing that intake. So this is the stuff that I'm gonna try to use. And once again, this is provided by the homie. All right, guys, did about half. This is what we have. This is more like how we started. I did try to do the whole thing at once, but it wasn't working. But pretty cool, man, how this turned out. I think it looks a lot better. So I'm gonna finish this side and then we'll get to starting taking stuff off the car. All right, guys, got all the bumper and the crash bar off. And as you can tell, there's really nothing wrong with the setup. It's not a bad setup. It's just seen better days. It's just older, and I've had it since 2011, so it's definitely served its time, and it's time to move on to something else. And I got the same. Actually, Barefoot was actually the one that did this piping as well, but that served its purpose. And same thing with this piping. So just wanted to give you one last look before I remove it. And then additionally, I'm gonna touch up some spots with some paint. All right, guys, got everything off. Touched up a few spots with the paint. So in case you're wondering, that's what that is. And switched over the AIT sensor and a bunch of other stuff. I will say, so check this out. When we were doing the lower intercooler pipe, I went ahead and test fitted everything just to make sure everything fit. And I guess I didn't fucking tighten the clamps well. And unfortunately, I guess I haven't learned my lesson. This is, I ended up crushing. So this gauge sits right here. And I didn't tighten the pipe, and when it blew off, it smashed this. Yo, guys, making some progress. Check that out, man. That looks so sick, man. You just cannot beat brand new parts, man. It looks so clean. And this is one of the reasons why you want to refresh, even if you don't need to. It's always nice to refresh every so often. Look how clean that looks, man. This got me excited. But I'm about to start installing the piping. I went ahead and saran wrapped it just because this piping is very, very hard to keep from scratching. I'll actually show you. So I've actually already scratched it a few times. Luckily that scuff pad actually worked towards removing some of those scratches, but
it is largely an enormous day in the NFL, and we are all over that all morning long. After these 30 seconds for Honey Nut Cheerios. What better way to start your day than with Honey Nut Cheerios made with whole grain oats, a heart-healthy food. Also has a touch of real... How can I do this, man? How?
guys, I'm at a loss for words here. I truly cannot believe what just happened. So I was tightening this pipe, and I don't have words to describe how this could happen. Like I don't know, man. I'm so fucking angry right now. And this is what I was using. Like, it wasn't anything crazy. I wasn't using a crazy ratchet or anything, and this thing just collapsed. So I don't even know what to do right now at this point. I'm so irritated. So I called my buddy, the one that welded the lower intercooler pipe, and he thinks he can fix it, but I don't even know what to say. All right, guys, we're back. Here's the aftermath of what I did earlier, and luckily the homie was able to hook it up, and he fixed this pipe. So shout out to him once again. Not that I owe anybody an explanation, but what I ended up thinking happened was the clamps these clamps that I am using now are the ones that STM provided, and they're a little bit different than the ones I'm used to. Not only was I using that small ratchet, but usually if you guys saw that, I don't have it right now, but the socket in there only goes so far. So usually my giveaway to stop was once it stopped ratcheting with the old setup, and I guess these clamps are different, so it just kept clamping and clamping, and it bent it. So it is what it is. Lesson learned. All right, guys, here we are. Everything's good so far. Got everything installed, piping wise. Yeah, I swear to God, I've done this like a million times, and I've never had it be this much difficult. But everything's on there, and then the homie Mr. Barefoot killed it with this piping, man. This thing it went in so easy compared to the stuff. This stuff, well, obviously he made it right there specifically for this setup, but like I'm telling you, it took me 5 minutes to get this put on there compared to the hassle over here with all the bullshit. But I'm gonna go ahead and do a boost leak test. Hopefully that's good, no issues, and then we'll go ahead and throw the crash bar on, which I'm excited to see. Oh, one last thing, I almost forgot. If you are gonna be installing this setup, first and foremost, the branding is on the bottom, which is kind of odd, but there it is. I expected it to be up here for some reason. But additionally, if you let this sag, you actually end up hitting the tow hook down here. So what I had to do is basically I had to hold it and push as hard as I could up to keep it away. It actually ended up, obviously I didn't drive it with it, but if you let it, it will hit right there. All right, guys, welcome back. Next day, I had finished it last night. I put the bumper back on, and I noticed this morning that there is some sagging on this headlight. It's actually pretty bad. So I went ahead and adjusted the bar, thinking that would help. It did move a little bit, but it didn't help much, and I still have that sagging. So I think I'm gonna try to put the old crash beam back on. I'm probably gonna have to modify it somehow, but yeah, it is what it is. So this crash bar did not work out for us. I know a lot of people aren't even running a crash bar up front, but it bothers me that sagging. It really bugs me. So I'd rather just put the old crash bar back on. But that's gonna cover it for this one. I'll mess around with that and see what ends up happening. I might actually even end up leaving it for now and doing this later, or maybe modifying this one. I haven't decided yet. But I'm gonna wrap this video up. This is taking way too long. Here's one final look at everything. Got the little battle scar right over here. Things didn't go as planned, but it kind of is what it is with all this stuff. I mean, it's the price you pay. I mean, at times, sometimes you think you're gonna do something easy, and in your mind you're already thinking like, hey, this should take no time, and then one thing leads to another, and then you end up running through a bunch of hurdles. But it's all about resilience and how you get back up. And luckily for us, everything's good. I took the car on a test drive yesterday. I boosted a little bit, and I had no issues, so everything is well. You're not gonna want to miss the next upcoming episodes with the Haltech install and then the tune. So I appreciate you guys hanging around. Take it easy, and I'm out. Peace.